That's going to be the catalyst for you to break through and grow to the next level, is simply creating more margin in your life. And so, Dr. Stephen, that's one of my lessons learned, and it's been a big one.
100%, man. I think that there's an inverse relationship between peace of mind and margin on your calendar.
Hello and welcome to the Remarkable CEO Podcast, a show dedicated to chiropractors who want to transform their job into a business, so that they can have a remarkable practice as part of a remarkable life, not instead of one. With your hosts, Dr. Pete Camiolo and Dr. Stephen Franson.
At Genesis, we help successful chiropractors implement spinal decompression with a fully turnkey system that handles everything from marketing and new patient generation to systems, protocols, and ongoing support. The result? Massive value for your practice and life-changing outcomes for your patients, all without drugs or surgery. This is the next evolution in chiropractic care. Welcome to Genesis. Welcome to another episode of the Remarkable CEO Podcast, chiropractic's #1 business podcast. I'm Dr. Pete Camiolo.
And I'm Dr. Stephen Franson.
And again, back by popular demand, this is our final episode of 2025. What a remarkable year it's been, Dr. Stephen.
Yeah, man.
Came out of the gates. It was the year of new wineskins. And wow, I love this episode because we get to reflect, you and I both, on our journey through the year and some lessons that we've learned. Hey, if you're listening on the other side of this and you haven't listened to the lessons learned episodes from the previous years, I do encourage you to go back and listen. It's actually some of our favorite episodes because we just are real, we're raw, we're open, we're honest. I feel like we always are, Doc, but in particular in this episode, we get to reflect on the year and share lessons learned. Remember, we only live and learn, and so we're living and learning. We're learning lessons. You win and learn as well, and so we've learned quite a bit this year, wouldn't you say?
Yeah, we have traditionally done wins and learns. I think we did that for the first three or 4 years. And then we were like, yeah, you know what's really interesting is when we show up and we talk about the learns. Right? So because at the end of the day, I think what a unique perspective that we take as coaches is we limp into the room like everybody else. Right? Yeah. So I think when you see people up on the stage or you see somebody on a podcast or you see somebody in their reel or, what have you, reel, what an ironic word for short form content on social media, right? So they should make them reels, REAL, right? So we try to be real with everybody in every episode, right? But this is just a real great opportunity for us to be raw and to say, listen, we're in the fight with you guys, right? So we are CEOs in the fight with you guys, running practices, leading teams of people, growing businesses, right? So this is smash mouth football, guys, right? So we are in the trenches with you. You're not looking at a couple of guys on the mountaintop pontificating about all of our success and, oh yeah, we've been through it all, we've done it all, and we've not made any mistakes along the way. And we coach from scar tissue, right? Yeah. So which is our way of reminding you, it's like we are in it with you, right? We're in the fight, we're in the battle. And every year it's our tradition. We talk about lessons learned, which is another way of us saying it's like, whew, man, it's a slugfest out there. This is running a business, growing a business is a full contact sport. It is not for the squeamish. So I wore my Strong People Are Hard to Kill t-shirt today in honor of this conversation, because that's truth, right? So we do hard things, right? So, and this is wicked hard, but it's worth it, right? So the juice is worth the squeeze. I love when things get difficult, right? So I like the hard stuff because that's what the money's for. Right. That's where everybody else quits. That's where everybody else stops. I'm like, good. It's getting hard. Right. Awesome. This is where everybody else is going to stop. This is where everybody else quits and lays down and whines. Right. So it's like, okay, this is the part that if we figure this out, all of the impact and all of the incomes on the other side of it. So let's get after it, Dr. Pete. I'm psyched to share.
So just in reflection on that and what you're saying, just the ability to be able to look back, how important that is. Many of us struggle with this. Like as entrepreneurs, we just want to keep moving forward. And there's a mechanism we use called the APPEAR process, and it's a discipline to look back. And so this is actually part of the APPEAR process for us. And I'd encourage all of you, as you're listening, to embrace the APPEAR process. The APPEAR actually means something, and the A stands for assess. So part of the lessons learned and a best practice that a remarkable CEO does is they assess before they plan, and they plan before they prepare before they execute. And then after they execute, they assess again. All right. And they report what happened. And then they, based on that, they repeat the process. So this idea that, we're doing this every year as part of a best practice that we do is simply we know this is a discipline. Because if you don't look back, this idea of unfinished business, like you got to put a bow on last year, 2025, so you can move forward wholeheartedly into 2026. If you can't bring closure to some of the things that happened, then you are bringing a bunch of open loops into the next year, and it's just going to slow you down. It's just drag. And so part of this best practice, Dr. Stephen, is for us and for you as CEOs to continue to move forward in your business. You got to be able to keep moving forward. But looking forward doesn't mean not looking back. It's an and conversation. So we're looking back so that we can move forward, so that we can be more remarkable moving forward. I love the concept of wisdom is the application of the lessons learned, whereas knowledge is knowing what happened. And so you apply knowledge and wisdom, those come together. And that's what we're doing, is we're trying to gain knowledge from the lesson learned. Mm-hmm. Then we apply it in the present, and that looks like you have wisdom. Yeah. Exactly. I only look like I have it because I've learned from the failures, from the struggles, from the challenges from our life. And so I want to start with a lesson learned this year. It actually started the year before, and it came from my calendar. And what it was is that I was so highly leveraged. There was so much, every minute was so occupied with productivity that I lacked margin. And I did it to myself, and maybe some of you can relate to me, but I'm talking like, if you looked at my calendar and you were to look at it a year ago, you would say, man, I don't know how you are able to do it. Like, how do you pull it off? Even my team, like, they're like, I don't know how you do it, knowing that even there's things that aren't on this calendar, like your family and all the things that aren't all on there that you're doing on a day in and day out basis. And I realized that for me to be as effective as I could be as a leader, I needed to create more margin in my life. And so I had a personal word for the year, which was margin. And that meant to me that I was going to be able to show up and be better, be my best self as a husband, as a father, as a coach, as a contributor to this chiropractic profession, as a president in the remarkable practice, fill in the blank. You could put all the different hats on, but like in every role and every function that I carry, that I needed to create more margin. So my lesson learned was that margin matters, and creating margin actually takes time. And so I couldn't just snap my fingers and have margin. I actually needed to be really intentional about it. And it took me time to build and create margin in my life, because I wasn't willing to create margin at the expense of losing or ruining relationships. And so I needed to be disciplined about it. And margin, the lesson that I learned is, as a result of creating more margin and taking steps to be able to do that, I've actually recognized that I'm able to show up with better energy, provide more value, be more present, be more effective in my life, in my work. And a lesson learned for all of us, especially for you CEOs, is, and anybody who's listening, is, what do they say? When you want to get something done, find a busy person. That's our life. That's my story. I don't know. Right now, I'm coaching 2 basketball teams. I didn't need to coach any basketball teams right now. I coach baseball. Why am I coaching basketball? Because there was nobody to do it. So I was like, I'll do it. And somehow I'm figuring out how to do it. How do you do it? I'm messaging all the teams, and I have to run the schedule and make sure I'm communicating with the commissioner and commissioning all the teams. And I'm that dad who's also the coach, and you know what? These things happen. You might say, well, Dr. Pete, you're tolerating that. No, I've actually created space in my life at this point where I can do it, and it's not going to derail my marriage or my family or my work. And I can do it because I've created margin, and I'm able to say yes to certain things that, you know what? I don't have to do that, but I get to do it, and I choose to do it, and I'm choosing to do it for several reasons, but I'm able to, Dr. Stephen, because of margin, because I've created that margin in my life that I'm like, well, I can do it. I can run it by my wife, and she can say, it's another thing you're going to be committed to, but do you want to do it? And I'm like, I think it'd be a really good way for me to connect with one of my kids and then another one of my kids. And it's like that, plus I can pour into them, and I like doing it. And by way, I can influence these other children through this vehicle called basketball coach. So Dr. Stephen, that's just a big lesson for me learned, was how important margin is, and that you have to fight for it. Like, you have to work. It's a work to keep your calendar where it needs to
100%.
be, to keep the space. And you do such a great job of this. You've taught me so much and you've done a great job, but you got to keep wrestling it through. Like you can't. So listening to me, if you're listening on the other side, I would encourage you to take a good hard look at your calendar and commit to creating more margin next year.
Yeah.
And it's going to be a bit painful. It's like the CEO who says, I'm going to consolidate some of my time. I'm not going to be in patient hours quite as much. I'm going to create a little bit more time to work on my business. So I'm not always working in it. It's that moment that you may need to get to this year. That's going to be the difference maker for you. That's going to be the catalyst for you to break through and grow to the next level, is simply creating more margin in your life. And so, Dr. Stephen, that's one of my lessons learned, and it's been a big one.
100%, man. I think that there's an inverse relationship between peace of mind and margin on your calendar, right? So it's just like if you are so overscheduled and there's just no daylight between commitments and activities, man, that creates anxiety. It just makes you so anxious. And so just recognize, like, if some of you might be struggling with peace of mind right now, or anxiety, and feeling overwhelmed all the time, look at your calendar. And you might be like, I don't have a calendar. Well, let's start there. Right? So the reality is that we all have exactly the same amount of time, 84,600 seconds every week. That's all you get. Everyone, that's what Dr. Pete's got. That's what I got. That's what everyone listening right now is like, there's only 2 weeks in your life where you don't get that time. Right. So the first one and the last one. Right. So otherwise it is the great equalizer. Everybody's working with exactly the same amount of time. That is, I think, one part frustrating and 2 parts inspiring. It's like Elon Musk, guess what he has? Exactly that. It's like, it's exactly that. So it's not time, it's focus, right? And it's the discipline to be able to claim time, right? So to claim and claim territory and commit your focus. Don't think about time management, think about focus mastery. So Dr. Pete, this is such a big subject. I'd love to spend the rest of this episode just talking about that, because if you don't get this right, you're screwed for every other thing we're going to talk about, right? So you got to create that space and time. So let's just commit to, we'll do an episode here in the near future. We'll just talk about time blocking. It's something we should do every year. We probably do it every year because it's such a pain point, right? Yeah. But every year you need to revisit your calendar, right? It's like, hey man, did I hear Franson just say he took all of his meetings from 1 hour, 60 minutes down to 45 minutes and all 30-minute meetings just went to 15 minutes? Bro. It's like, think about how simple that is. It's like, no, it's everybody shows up and like, I know we only have 45 minutes. Like, yeah, let's get to work. And if you have a framework for that, it's way more productive than the 60 minutes that everybody would have fully consumed and occupied had you given them 60 minutes, right? So there's just some strategies we can teach you and then tactics that support it. All right, man, that's fantastic. I love that. I needed to hear that. Thanks so much, Dr. Pete. All right, so I'm going to start with one lesson learned that I think is just equally valuable. It applies to all things as a leader, is this concept of delegation and doing remarkable delegation, right? So just getting better at delegation. It's delegate, then trust, but verify, right? So the old Russian metaphor that Ronald Reagan made so famous, trust but verify, right? So this process that we have a whole 10-step, we're not going to get into that on how to delegate well, but I'm going to pull some of the sweet spots out of it, because if you delegate well, this is the secret to creating scalability and durability, right? So that turns your job into a business. If you don't delegate well, guess what? You just have a job, right? You're stuck with a job. You've got to learn how to delegate well. So this sort of 3-step process of delegating, and delegating well means creating clear expectations and agreements, right? So making sure that you get total chime-in and buy-in from the person that you're delegating to, that they have total clarity what success looks like. And then you train them and equip them and support them. Like that's all part of this delegation process. Then once you do that, it's trust them. Let them do it. Okay. So just get out of the way and let them do it. But verify. You have got to have reporting systems so you have visibility, and check in so that you have accountability, right? So you've got to make sure that you set them up for success. And part of setting them up for success, it's not babysitting, it's not micromanaging them, it's making sure that you're accessible, right? So you're not abdicating, right? You're not relegating, you're delegating, right? So, and you're making sure that you have just enough distance for them to be able to have some autonomy and freedom and creativity and, pacing and all that. But at the same time, you create guardrails around that. So you're setting them up for success. So Dr. Pete, I love the concept of the macro management that we teach in TRP, right? So versus micromanagement, right? So you'll hear it as red zone. We do red zone leadership, right? So it's the 20-60-20 rule, right? So here's how I do it. This helps us. And my lesson learned is that I got too loose with this year because I started letting the concept of this person's a manager or they're a director or they're a leader of this part of the business. I'm just going to let them run it. And I'm like, man, I just let go of some things too quickly. I let too much distance go between what I know I'm uniquely qualified at doing and to take the business to success. And I just sort of let go of some of these just best practices that I know my team needs for me. And that's my contribution as a leader, right? So the 20-60-20 is a really powerful framework. It's very simple. Spend the first 20% of a given project. Let's say you're doing a quarterly project. You spend 20% of the time, energy, focus with the person that you're delegating to and making sure that they have clarity, making sure that they know what is the end we have in mind? What does success look like, right? So making sure that they understand the pathway, right? And here's what we're trying to accomplish. This is our objective, right? So do you have total clarity? Do you have questions for me? Here are your resources. This is how I would suggest you go about this, but man, take it and run with it, right? So, and then you have to let them take it and run with it, right? So I'm going to use the football analogy here. Let them run it down the field from the 20, 60 yards down the field. Now you're inside of the 20 on the other end, right? So they call that the red zone in football. And that's when you're like, okay, so you can bring me back in once you get inside the 20, once you're in the red zone, if you need me, whether it's I need to help you take it 20 yards, or maybe it's a 1-yard quarterback sneak across the end zone, whatever you need me to do, I'll help you at the very end to button it up and give them the room to run that thing all the way down the field to free you up, right? So you're using your money to buy somebody else's time, energy, focus, and talent to free up your time, energy, focus, and talent. This is called leverage. And this is how leverage hits the ground. You delegate, trust, then verify, right? So delegate, then trust, but verify. Dr. Pete, it's the 20-60-20 macro management or red zone leadership.
Love the that we got to integrate a sport. It's way more helpful when sports are involved. So for all of you who love that we love referencing sports, he had to get a little football analogy in there. For those of you who don't like it quite as much, too bad, but it does work. And I love that. And I think that's a great, and like you said, we have some really beautiful trainings on delegation methodology, which we're not going to get into now, but absolute values as if you're a TRP client, those are in the vault and they're just so powerful under the team building trainings. So great lesson learned, Doc. And, it just shows that the fact that this was a challenge and a lesson for you this year, it says that even as you ascend in leadership, for all of you who are listening, this is still, it's a lesson learned from a very seasoned, experienced leader who's been doing this a long time.
Yeah, every season is another version of you screwing this up. That's what it is. And for our control freaks out there, I'm talking to you right now. It's like, this message is for you. This is going to bring peace on earth, right? So combine what Dr. Pete just talked about of creating margin and then also learning the 20-60-20, we're learning how to delegate well. This is where peace on earth comes from, not just scalability, productivity, more. And for anybody who knows a control freak, share this episode with them with love, right? So you guys, it's like, all I want for Christmas is for you is more influence in chiropractic, right? So I'm going to ask you guys, share this episode. There's going to be so much gold in this episode, and you're going to think of your brothers and sisters in chiropractic like, oh man, Dr. Susan needs to hear that. Oh man, Dr. Mike, he's going to resonate with that. So please do us a solid and bless somebody with this particular episode. That's what we're asking you. Get in the Christmas spirit, share the podcast.
So I love it. Next lesson. So I'm going to share a couple, but another lesson learned is the importance of needing both quality and quantity time. So I want to talk about quality and quantity time. I want to talk about it in the lens of coaching. I want to talk about it in the lens of parenting. Had an opportunity on a personal side to celebrate my son Noah's 18th birthday. And I took him on a trip, father-son trip, and it was really special. We have a great relationship. It's a unique relationship, like any relationship with every child. I think we all have a unique relationship with every child. I happen to have 5 children, whether you have 1 kid or 2 kids or 3 kids, whatever. You have a unique relationship with each one of your children. And Noah, who is our oldest, I have a unique relationship with him. And so I blocked this time in my schedule about a year in advance to make sure that it was a priority and that it was going to happen and we were going to do this trip. And so spent, a few months just prepping for it and definitely had some, what you might say, anxiety going into it, not anxiety in a bad way, but in a good way. Like I wanted it to be great. I wanted it to be special. I wanted it to go well. And honestly, it was one of the best trips that I've ever had in my life. And I'm just so grateful for it. But it was what I learned was the importance of the quality of time and the quantity of time. That combo is really important. So I've heard this said before, it's not about quantity, it's about quality. And I'll say, actually, for some things that may be true, but not all things and not all relationships and not at all times. And this was one of those times, a milestone moment where it required both quality and quantity time. And what I was grateful for was that I was able to do it, recognizing it, and then actually executing on that. And it was one of the greatest, moments in my life as a father, and just a time to connect with the son who I love, and just not grown distance from, but like we just matured and kind of, he's kind of doing his thing, and he's older and he's got friends and work and life, and he's just got a lot going on. And so to create that space for us to get quality and quantity time together as a father and a son was just transformative for me. It was healing and it was transformative. And what's cool was I went in to the meeting with, quote unquote, the time together with an agenda of all the things I wanted to accomplish. And what happened during that time was the agenda got crumpled up and thrown out because it didn't really matter. What I realized was it wasn't going to be like, here's my time to share a lecture and teach you 15 things you're going to need to know. Those things eventually will come out and have come out slowly but surely. It was actually just being in each other's presence. Yeah. And just being together with no agenda other than an itinerary that was generally loose, but somewhat we needed to stick to it kind of thing. And that was so powerful. And we had just an amazing time. And one of my highlights was summiting Half Dome out in Yosemite together, getting up to the top and just being so tired, so fatigued. We did it in a day. It was about 20 miles up, 10 miles in and 10 miles out, and all elevation, the whole time. And it was just to do that with him, to do that challenge, to have that experience was just really transformative. And we had a lot of other beautiful experiences before and after that. So
just awesome.
Just encourage you guys as you're listening, like if you're a parent, you're raising kids, depending on what season you're in, man, every season's slightly different. And I'm learning a lot about him, about all the seasons. Cause I got kids I got elementary, middle, high school, and about to be college all at the same time. And so to be in those seasons and all the seasons at the same time, recognizing there's different needs at different stages for different kids. And my contribution, like coaching, is a contribution for me to give quality and quantity time to a kid who gets 60 to 90 minutes with me in an environment. Yeah, with other kids, but still they're getting me. This was a different environment because I lost some of those touch points, where with Noah now I was able to do that. And it was a game changer for him and for us and our relationship. And I want to use that same concept to say the same is true of coaching. So what I've learned about coaching is, I've been coaching now for 17 years. I've been coaching chiropractors, and I've been coaching chiropractors with Dr. Steven to be 7 years together. We've been coaching. And what I've learned is that coaching is not a short-term relationship. Coaching is a long-term relationship. And if you want to get the most out of your coaching, you want to have a great experience with coaching, it's a long-term relationship that you really are looking for. Because what you're going to do is you're going to take some significant territory, and it's going to take time to do it. And I've realized that if you want to get the most out of your coaching relationship, you got to commit to both the quantity of time it's going to be required, and then show up as a student and implement to get the quality out of that time.
That's right.
And that's you as a coach. Like I show up, Dr. Steven, I know like you show up, we show up and we do our best work. We show up ready, prepared, ready to get to work and get things done, help move things along. If you're a client or you're not, you haven't received coaching, maybe you received coaching in the past, you've had good, great, neutral results, whatever experience, it's a done with you experience. And what I've learned as a coach, because I love coaching and I love deriving results from my clients, and I'm a very committed person. So if you hire me or you got Dr. Steven, or you hire TRP, we're going to go to work and we're going to get to work for you. We're going to help you win big, but you got to show up and be ready to do the work. That's right. So you've got to be committed. Like what I'm saying is I can't be the only one that's committed to it. It's like a patient that comes in who's not fully committed to getting their life transformed with chiropractic care. It's just a really hard relationship because I'm more committed than you are. And I see that in coaching. I've realized, like, you know what? If you're ready to change your life and change your business for the better, then hire a coach that you can run with for a season, because it's going to take years for you to get to where you want to go. But if you can commit to it, I'm telling you, I get to have the other side, Dr. Steven, conversations with people years later. And it's just awesome to see, like, man, I came in thinking I'd get all my stuff fixed in 30, 60, 90 days, 6 months. I'm like, and they look back 3-4 years later, like, man, how little did I know? But look at how far I've come. And so that's a lesson I've learned, but it's also, I just want to plant that seed for all of you to listen to, because if you don't have a long game mindset when you're investing in coaching, whether it's marriage coaching or financial coaching or business coaching, and we're business coaching for chiropractors, then you're not going to get the juice out of the squeeze. And it's a long game, and it requires both quantity and quality. It takes years, but man, you're going to get an exponential ROI if you fully commit. You get the right coach and you get to work. So that's just a lesson I learned, Dr. Stephen, after 17 years of coaching and being in the thick of this. We built this CEO program 7 years ago, and all I've learned is it takes years. But if you commit to it, man, the fruit of it is going to last you a lifetime. It's a legacy as a result. So that's another lesson learned this year.
Yeah, both of those are really beautiful and inspiring, buddy. And I put myself immediately in your shoes as both a dad as a coach, and frankly, as a chiropractor working with patients, right? So, what I know is like all of those relationships, what we're really describing, I think, is the objective is transformation, right? Mm-hmm. And we're not just talking about transformation of a person, but especially with your kids, it's a transformation of a relationship, right? So real transformation requires a convection oven, not a microwave. And there's a real difference between those two things, right? So it's just like you have got to put in the time to really experience that deep change. And that really, there's times for the microwave. Yes, it's like, I get it. Beep, beep. I'm in a hurry and I don't have time to do anything but this. Okay, great. There'll be microwave moments for sure, but you got to be intentional about creating those convection oven moments where it's like, it just requires that heat over time, because we're also busy and we're also inebriated with busyness and distracted. It takes time just to settle down to connect, right? So it just takes time to just settle down. And when you take those 1 week trips, I think we've all been there where it's like takes 2 days into a vacation before you stop checking your watch and looking at your calendar and wondering, should I be doing something right now? Right. So by day 3, you're like, oh, this is vacation. And if you're only taking 5, 6, 7 days away, it's like, it's 2 days of before you leave ramping back up again. It's like, that's why 10 days, man, you got to do a 10-day vacation, right? Man, I'm glad that you did that long-term trip. Something Noah will never forget, man. And there's nothing that replaces that. Nice work, Dad. All right. So my second one I'm going to share is the power of awkward conversations. You guys have heard me say this many times before, but it warrants repeating because it's something I apparently have to learn every year, which is we're all one awkward conversation away from fixing every jacked up relationship in our life. Right? So Pastor Bruce Boreitz said that to me once. And I still see Bruce every month in my C12 group. He's just an awesome guy. I was just with him last week in Boston. But I told him that. I'm like, man, you have no idea how many times I've quoted you. That's like one of the Bruce quotes. But that's one of them, man. It's just like, we're all one awkward conversation away from fixing every jacked up relationship in our life. Right. So we need to hear that, guys. That's like, you know what you're thinking of it right now. The person you're thinking of right now, that's who I'm talking about, right? That's the relationship I'm talking about. It's like, man, we're just misaligned. This is sideways. There's an awkwardness. We're on eggshells. We're not aligned. Like all these things you're saying right now, jacked up relationship, and you need to fix it, right? And you need to sit down and you need to create the space and time to be real and raw and direct and compassionate and loving and receptive and humble. And you just have to show up and address it. Right. So it's just like, there is no need to delay. It's not going to get better on its own. The 5 worst words are maybe it will go away. Have you ever been able to procrastinate your way out of a problem? Right. So do things get worse or do they get worse? You guys know how this goes. Right. So just whenever you know that there's an awkwardness or I should say there's some misalignment in a relationship, have the awkward conversation. Just create the space and time, create the safe place for you to address the elephant in the room, so to speak. And man, I just catch myself, Dr. Pete, like I have to learn this lesson over and over again. And every time I do it, I'm like, oh my gosh, that wasn't so bad. That wasn't so hard. Why did I wait a day or a week or a month to address that thing? So have those awkward conversations. We're all one awkward conversation away from fixing every jacked up relationship in our life.
It's good. Yeah. As you're saying that, I'm reflecting on just my year and having a few of those awkward conversations as well, whether the relationship was considered jacked up or not, but just having those awkward conversations, having those challenging conversations and committing to that. Like, it's almost like, Dr. Stephen, you should at the beginning of every month, take inventory, say, is there any awkward conversation I need to have this month? Right. It's like, there needs to be accountability for that question. Because a lot of times we're in reactive mode versus a proactive awkward conversation. There's a big difference. And I think about, hey, how can we get ahead of this? I see this going this way, so I'm going to go ahead and do this now so that we've avoided. I think that's the next level, right? The proactive awkward conversation before things hit the fan. Sure. So that's good, man. Good
Whether it's
lesson
with a
there.
patient or a client or an employee or a spouse or one of your kids or one of your friends or, a vendor, like just look around. I think that's great. Survey the landscape and say, where do I need to have that conversation?
Yeah, that's good. So Doc, one more lesson for me, and I'll share this one. This one's more recent, and it has to do with your heart, and just really taking care of the heart. One of the things I get maybe, what do you call it, labeled as in TRP is the heart guy, Dr. Stephen's systems guy. Everybody's got their thing, right? So I do have a lot of passion. I have a big heart, and I love to serve, and I love the work that we get to do and all the things. But one of the things that I'm learning this year is because I have started to invest in counseling and getting care for myself and my heart. Because you realize, hey, all I do every day is take care of other people. I'm in high demand. I just constantly give. And it's like, and I've been doing that a long time, as a chiropractor. That's all of you listening to me right now. Like, you give and love and serve every day, all day. You're constantly, literally physically transferring energy,
That's right.
Mentally transferring energy, emotionally transferring of energy. It's a lot. So how are you filling your tank?
Yep.
What are you doing to take care of yourself? So I started working with this group, and it's been awesome. They work with leaders specifically, and it's been a transformative experience for me. I've just begun, even in the fourth quarter, so it hasn't been that long. But I realized, first of all, I needed margin. Number one. Number two, I realized that important things take quantity and quality, and the third is that when you do that, you're going to get to the heart of the matter.
Yeah.
Okay. Margin, quantity, and quality, and then heart. Those three, and they go hand in hand. And I realized that as I was prepping for this moment, and we're just kind of flowing, you and I, but I realized, like, it was the margin that created this space for me to recognize that I needed to start working on my own heart, myself, so that I can continue to show up myself and be fully alive, because that's the best person that I can be for you, Dr. Stephen, for my wife, for my kids, for you. If you're listening to this podcast, you're going to get the best version of Dr. Pete and the best version of Dr. Stephen if we're taking good care of ourselves. And so I was reminded that we've got to take great care of ourselves. And this thing, what I'm focusing on in this counseling and what I'm walking through is really the caring for your own heart, and realizing that. And actually, we started with I'm reading books. It's a lot. There's work to the process, but you realize that this actually all goes back to like from conception and from the beginning of life, like from birth, how we're hardwired. And you realize, man, we've gotten so far from it because of the demands of life and providing for your family, or, achieving some goal, or overcoming some broken thing from your past that you're still running from and you just didn't deal with it. And it's like, whoa, like, wow, that's influencing my life on a day-in-and-day-out basis. Like, yeah, it is. And so I've just been going after that, Dr. Stephen, here in the fourth quarter, and it's going to continue into 2026 for me, which I'm really excited about, because I like doing the work, but also being able to show up as my best self, to be able to be the person that I am created to be and fully alive and fully expressing that. You've got to have a healthy heart. And I realized that, and I'll share this one story and I'll pass it back to you, but I lost a really dear friend this year, and I was at his memorial service. He's a chiropractor, someone who I absolutely love and adore. And he was one person that whenever I was with him, I was like, man, he just makes me smile and makes me laugh. Like, he will not let me have a bad day. He will not let me get away with anything. He's like, he will just make you get out of your funk. He's like, dude, and he'll make you laugh. Like, he just wouldn't let me be so serious or whatever. Like, it was one of those people in your life that, you need him in your life. And he was one of those guys in my life I'm so grateful for, and I miss him dearly. And I've just been reflecting on this year and just like, man, that's one brother and friend a colleague who I miss. But when I think about him, he was fully alive. Like, he lived with a full heart.
That's right.
And the Friday Night Lights, clear eyes, full heart, can't lose. Like, he was that guy. Like, yeah. Clear eyes, full heart, can't lose. And I learned a lot from watching him, observing his life. And I've had an opportunity, to coach him and to see his family and to be a part of it and of the story, and watching what even his family did at coming around him, having 4 offices, just a lot. And to lose your life at a young age with a young family, it's just really tragic in so many ways, but it's also, he lived a full life. And what everybody said at his memorial service was he packed 100 years into his 52.
Right.
He lived fully. Like, we all are far, way, way off. Like, what he was able to accomplish in his life, is 10x what most people accomplish in their life. Like he grabbed life and lived it to the full. And so just, I want to give a tribute. His name is Dr. Michael Heskett. And I just want to tribute to him, his beautiful family, his wife, Marjorie, and his amazing family. And just grateful for people in my life who remind me what it looks like to live with a full heart. And Michael, I love you, my friend. Like you left a mark on me. You left a mark on this profession. You left a mark just that'll just remain for me in a great and beautiful way. And you lived with a heart, and I just want to live more fully alive and be more like you. So that's that was the lesson learned.
Big Mikey. He is sorely missed. Yeah. Dr. Pete, we teach heart, head, hands, feet, and always have to start with the heart, right? So the heart's the why, right? And the head is the what. What's it look like? The hands is the how. And the feet is let's go. Let's get to work, right? So the vast majority of the chiropractors that we have the privilege of coaching and working with, we come to them and we had to come up with that process of heart, head, hands, feet to remind them to start with the heart. like it's like, hey, start with the heart with everything. Like, just don't get you're so in your head, and they want the process, the procedure, the scripting, and we love that. We love the tools. We have all that. It's like, hey, time out. Heart, head, hands, feet. Man, Dr. Michael's record skipped at heart. Man, it was like, okay, Michael, let's get your head into it now, buddy. So you talk about somebody who just had such a huge heart. He's like, I got enough heart for all y'all. Yes. It's like, yes, you do, brother. So yeah, man, he's missed. What an awesome person and a role model for all of us. Heart, head, hands, feet. He started with the heart and everything, man. All right. So I'll bring my last one here. Make decisions faster. Okay. So the most successful people in the world make half the decisions or twice the decisions in half the time. I heard CJ Mertz say that once. And I don't know where he heard that, but I heard it from him. And man, that is just gospel, right? So, and that doesn't mean being reckless and not being data driven. It means knowing your vision story, knowing your purpose, knowing your mission, knowing your core values, knowing what God has seeded in your heart as a vision story of what success looks like, knowing your metrics, knowing your data, knowing your team. It's the knowingness and the preparation that your innate intelligence is going to dip into that learned mind, that studied mind, where you have actually added data to that GPS, that God's positioning system, and stop second guessing yourself and make the friggin' call, make the decision, make the move, take action. Almost everything that we want is on the other side of greater action, right? But if you're not doing the preparation, right? If you're not unearthing your purpose and your premise and your core values, and you don't spend time with the data and immersing yourself and understanding your team and their strengths, and if you don't have that level of clarity, Dr. Pete, then you're being reckless, right? So, at the end of the day, if you recognize that I'm going to show up, I might not be the smartest, I might not be the strongest, but I'm going to be the most prepared, right? So making sure that you're doing that, all the unsexy, invisible work, the preparation, all the practice before you hit the field and play, right? So you got to do all that work, but then trust yourself, trust those instincts, right? So one part gut, two parts data, but don't give up on that gut, making sure that you understand is like, you've got that great inner voice, right? That inner something that's speaking to you, right? That instinct that you've been developing. You got to learn to trust that and make decisions faster. Dr. Pete, 2026 will be a year where I'm going to be very clearly making decisions faster and being very sensitive, compassionate, but I'm going to be operating with a new level of urgency. And I understand, and I know that 2026 we're called to the year of the breakthrough.
Please stick around for more business insights from this week's bonus interview with our remarkable success partner dedicated to helping you more successfully help more people. Enjoy. All right, remarkable CEOs, Dr. Pete here with one of my dear friends, brothers, colleagues, first guy I met who gave me a hug at Remarkable Practice many years ago, Dr. Roger Sahoury, world-class chiropractor, amazing leader, amazing father, husband, and CEO, multiple businesses, and one that we're going to talk about today that's could help you explode your business, the SprintSet Energizing Weight Loss System. Hey, Roger, thanks for joining me here today.
Thanks for having me, my brother. Love you. Very
love
much.
you too. As you guys know, we have partnered with key people in the industry that are going to help the doctors who we work with in Remarkable become more successful in helping more people, driving a bigger impact and driving bigger income. And Roger does that. He's been a faithful CEO and success part of the Remarkable practice since, as far as I can remember, so back to probably 2017, 18. This guy has been serving chiropractic as well through his SprintSet energizing weight loss business. And I had the opportunity to be a SprintSet, to go through a SprintSet myself as a user, so basically as a client. And I work with, as a coach, several of his providers who are delivering this in their businesses. And so, Roger, the reason why this is such a powerful time for you and I to have together is because so many of our listeners don't know about you. They don't know about SprintSet energizing weight loss system. So give us a little bit of the story, a little bit of who you are. Tell us who you are a little bit of your why, and a little bit about the what. Like, what is it? What is SprintSet? So give us a little bit of that to start, and then I've got some other questions for you.
Awesome. Pete, you know this, but many don't. First and foremost, God is number one in my life. I'm a man of faith. My whole house, the center of our home, is the Lord. I have an amazing wife, as we say, a Proverbs 31 woman. She's just amazing. And I have 3 beautiful girls. So that's my joy in life. I live by, God, number 1, taking care of my health is number 2. Number 3 is my family, because without my health, I couldn't be enough for my family. And then without just the love and the God-centered home that I have with my family, it wouldn't make sense to serve the mission. But I am here to serve the mission, and that's why I am here. I've run a very successful chiropractic wellness center for over 2 decades. Many of those years, close to, right around that 1,000 patient visit a week mark. Been speaking globally, international best-selling author in 4 countries, but most importantly, I am here to serve you today, Pete, and all your listeners, my brother.
Your story is so powerful, and how you got into chiropractic. And I know you're not going to tell that story today, but can you tell the story about how you got into SprintSet? Like, where did that come from, and why you feel that this business, because you could just stay focused on your family and growing your awesome chiropractic business and just focus there, but like many chiropractors do, but you had a conviction that there was more. You wanted to bring more to this profession, and this is part of your heart. So share with us a little bit about the genesis of SprintSet, and then obviously it's evolved, and I've watched it evolve as you've continued to grow it and develop it over time. So we're now here, in 2025, going into 2026, and this business has continued to upgrade and improve year after year after year. But give us a little bit of the beginning, and then bring us up to speed of where we're at right now.
A little bit about the beginning is where you're taught in chiropractic, right? You're talking about the physical, chemical, emotional piece, right? Chemical being that lifestyle component. And I was finding that as a very big hole as far as what was happening in the patient world. I was on boards of many different companies, and I still found holes in everything out there. I said, so you know what? I just need to develop this. Let me put my mind here. Let's take all the research that I've ever done. Let me talk to all the brilliant minds. Let me gather everything, and then let me put it together. And I did. It's been such a transformation in sealing that gap, because we know life flow plus lifestyle gives you a longer lasting lifespan. And as chiropractors or healthpreneurs, right, that we like to be out there, we want to make an impact in the patient's lives. And one of the biggest challenges in the chiropractic profession is the retention model. You want to be in the conversation with people because you're at a point in a bucket, right, where they are what they're looking for right now. You've already may have solved, the pain piece, the injury piece of them. And now it's like, all right, well, what's the next piece? So you got to stay in that conversation, that lifestyle component. Hey, I want to lose weight. I want to balance out my hormones. I want to cleanse my body out. I want to get rid of this joint pain, whatever it may be. You want to be in that conversation. SprintSet solves that piece. And the way that we solve that piece is we become your team, right? So you want to leverage systems, people, technology, right? Because you have certain resources that you have, right? You have your time, you have your energy, you have your financial money, and then you have your focus. So what we've done is we come on board with people and with doctors and with staff, and we say, let us be your team. Let us be your team to take care of your people. Let us care for your people. Let us help you with that retention aspect. Let us be an attraction piece for you. Let us be a revenue builder for you because you desperately need it, right? What we found is that our retention is extremely high. And the reason it's extremely high is because of this component. So what we'll do is first we'll tell people, listen, let's get you checked to see how healthy your body is truly running from within. We've run the nervous system check, but now let's run a body composition analysis. Let's run a cellular inflammatory test. Let's see how, if you have oxidative stress, hormonal resistance going on in your body. Let's see if you are falling in that category where you're at risk for heart disease, right? If you're at risk for diabetes or whatever it may be. Some of them are already dealing with that. So they come in, we have that test done. Once that test is done, now what happens is the conversation occurs where you will hand them off to our team. Our team begins to connect with that person that has been looking for something. Now, this isn't taking your team's time because we're doing that piece. Now we move them over to a customized system for them. Let's say it's weight loss. Okay. Let's use that as the example piece. And this person needs to lose 30 pounds. So we put them on what we call a full SprintSet. Now they run through a system. They have a coach that monitors them. They run through sprints and sets, which they're eating real foods. Okay. They're incorporating specific fasting styles as well. They're cleaning out their cells. They're getting their hormones. They become raving fans because that 30 pounds is not uncommon to come off in that full SprintSet. Now, they become raving fans. They start to refer other people into the practice. And now you're building an attraction piece, but also retaining them because you just made a huge impact in their lives. Maybe they came off of diabetic medications. Maybe they came off that metformin. Maybe they got off of their insulin, right? Maybe they came off their hypertension medication. Maybe their joints are all feeling so great. Ellen, the other day, who came in, she was so hesitant about starting, and this is my own practice. She was referred by another patient into the practice. She has been, her spouse passed away. She used to play guitar. She's a big part of her church. She's been under chiropractic care, and she still had all that pain. She came in as a patient for hours. Chiropractically, started making a big difference, but that inflammation in her hands weren't going away. We put her on SprintSet. Within 45 days, she started playing the guitar again. She got her life back. What is she doing? She's now referring everybody into the practice, but chiropractically, I've been taking care of her for, 8 months, and she didn't refer anyone. And then all of a sudden, she did SprintSet, and she's referred 5 people in already. 5. So it's like, wow, get into the conversation of what they're looking for, get them excited, and then they start coming in. They start sending other people in. I mean, that's really the key. And then we support them lifetime. I know I got some great new features. Pete, let me let you talk a little bit.
You guys, so Dr. Roger and I, we've known each other for a long time. He's been around TRP. He's an incredible human. As you guys are hearing his heart and his wisdom, and he solved a problem. See, this is what we say. Every business exists to solve a problem. He solved a problem for you. If you're listening to this, this is a problem you have in your practice. If you're not addressing the lifestyle component and you're not doing it effectively, you might say, well, I talk about it. I teach advanced workshops. Whatever. Okay. But do you have a system in place that's rooted in technology, that's rooted in truth, that has a team backing it up? Because where I know I fall, Dr. Roger, is follow up and follow through. I'm a visionary like you, like big picture. We love to get things going. It's just, we leave a mess behind us, a whole trail of casualties along the way. We don't have the pieces in place to help us. What Roger and Dr. Roger and his team have done is they built the system to do it for you. Yeah, you got to get the patient, refer them into the thing. That's like the majority of what you do. And then they get connected with their coach. They get set up in the program. They leverage the technology, and you're getting all the benefits of it because they're looking at you as being, the person that helped them do this. So, Dr. Roger, what does it look like for me if I'm listening to this? I'm like, okay, yeah, it's 2025, we're going into 2026. I've got to turn some things around. I'm looking to create some new revenue streams. I love this idea of marketing. It can open the door for some more marketing. I love retention because that's what's happening. We're having to replace people in our marketing. It's been struggle bus. And now so you're talking about we're going to get more attraction, more referrals, more retention, more revenue, new revenue associated with on top of the chiropractic. Now we've got this as another added revenue stream, and it's not all dependent upon me. What does that look like? Because I think this year in 2026, a lot of you who are listening, you need to add in new revenue drivers, new revenue streams. You need to do that, but things that are congruent, keeping your foot, right? Principle plants on the principle. Keep the main thing, the main thing. And Roger knows that. I mean, he's life flow, chiropractic, lifestyle equals lifespan. Doc, what does it look like for a chiropractor, a clinic right now listening to say, hey, if we could add this in, what kind of a revenue bump could we see in the next 12 months if we did this right? Let's be conservative. And what kind of requirement of time, energy, and focus for you, me, if I'm the doctor, and my team, are we really looking at? Give us some numbers, what we could expect, even just conservatively, ballpark. Give us, just because I know you've got a lot of data over the years from your clients.
Of course. So let's talk about, so there's an affiliate model, there's a provider model, right?
Okay.
So if we're looking at, just like as an affiliate source, right? It could be as little as adding an extra couple of grand a month into the practice. Okay. If we're a more of aggressive affiliate, one who's going to be referring, well, that's an extra, 20, could be 20 grand, right? A month. If we are a provider on the high end, you could be up an extra million or so in revenue for the year. On the lower end, you'll bring in six figures, right? So it comes down to really the individual, the individual office. And look, I'm not going to say that there's zero effort on your part, because there is going to be some effort, right? There's going to be effort of you definitely making a referral, right? And then if you want to put a little bit of ad spend, you can do that, right? But we have the vehicles for the marketing in place. We will do webinars for you. So you get the people, will give us the list. We get the people to the webinar. I'll actually do the webinar for you, and then drive them to get their body comp, and then move them to the sale, right? So we'll do those kind of things. We got text campaigns done, email campaigns done. Patients are loving we have new features coming out right now. So like a Snap Chef AI as well, where you can just open up your fridge, take a picture of it. It'll tell you what recipes to make, cool little features like that. What you have coaches that are there to support you the entire, the client every single day, right? So you have a snapshot, like you could go right into dashboards, exactly what's going on with your client. Look, this is how much weight they lost. This is where their energy was. It was at 30%. Now it's at 70%. This is what's going on as far as their body comp. Everything's improving. This is where they are. They've graduated here. Oh, they bought nutrition in the lifetime component because we watched them for a lifetime. And now all of a sudden there's more income going into your bank account, right? So there's a lot of different components of like what it can look like. I know I jumped a little bit off.
No, it's good. So if I'm listening, this is a podcast. Maybe you're watching on YouTube. You're seeing Roger, but what would be the next step? Like in these scenarios, for me, I'm always like, all right, what's the next thing I need to do? Like everybody that's listening has a lot going on. They're probably multitasking while they're listening to this right now, right?
Yeah.
But what would be a very simple? What's the most practical next step for anybody who's interested in? You know what? I am interested in this. I need to learn a little bit more though. I got an idea, but I need to know more. What's the next step?
Next step would be to jump onto a one-on-one with me. I'll show you the back end of everything. And then we can go from there and see if we're the right fit for each other. Because I also want to make sure you're the right fit for me. I don't just accept every single person, right? In every single office, right? There is criteria that I want to make sure it is the right fit. So it's not wasting my time, energy, and resources as well. there is a cost for me to run things, and I just want to make sure that it's being well spent as well.
Yep.
So I want the right partner. So listen, if you're somebody who is looking to add a lifestyle component, and I'm not talking about, hey, listen, I have this certain kind of maybe program with shakes and just nutritional supplements. That's not who we are. We're a system. We're a bolt-on system, to your business here. We're here to help you move that needle, move forward, and make an impact in your patients' lives and be that go-to person where they know this is the place that I need to be and the place that I need to go if I'm looking to get healthy. And you as a doctor know there's certain criteria for you to get healthy, right? You got to get adjusted. We know that. But you got to get sleep. You got to hydrate your body. You got to move your body regularly. You got to do things. You got to have time with the Lord so that you fill yourself spiritually as well. You have to be able to communicate properly with your family, show them love, meet their love languages, right? There are things that you need to do in order to get your body to be healthy. It's the same exact thing when it comes to your business. And we care about your business because it's our business. It's our family. So we got to take a look at you like you're our children, and we got to take care of our children and our household. It's the same exact way. So when we partner with you, we care for you. I'm not here to sell you. I'm here to care for you. And if you're looking to make a bigger impact this 2026, then we can be the right fit. If you're not, I'm not a transactional guy. I'm a relational guy. Anybody who knows me knows I am relational. I am not transactional, because I will walk away from something based on a transaction like this. But when it comes to people that I know actually care about me, I'm more open to staying with them, which is why I've been with TRP for a decade, honestly. Yeah. So it's about being relational, not transactional. And if that is who you are and that's what you're looking for, and you want to help your bottom line as well, then we can be a good fit. Let's get on that call and let's just see. I mean, that's really what it's about.
And I'll say this about you as we wrap, and thank you for sharing that and sharing your heart. That's who you get when you get Roger, though. Dr. Roger, this is who he is. He shared his heart there. What I know about Dr. Roger and what he brings is relational is so powerful. But I will say this, the system is the transactional part. In other words, he's built the system to do the work. All those checks and balances and follow through those emails, everything he talked about, like that's a lot of transactional elements that are very detailed, and he's got all that built in so that you can continue to build the relationship with your patients and be that relationship leader. What we know is that when you combine the transactional with the relational, that's transformational. And that's what this leads to. This is a transformational setup for your business if you were to choose to go that route. Like you said, if it's a good fit. And like Dr. Rogers said, at least talk to you. And I think a good next step. So what's the way that they get in contact with you then?
If they just go to SprintSet.com, and then from there, they can just hit the provider scheduler, and then they can get on with my team. Pete, I did want to finish with one last thing too. I know that people are in the conversation of two other components today, right? One is a question that may come up is, do you guys incorporate AI, right? I do want you to know that when our coaches step away from the desk because their hours are over, right? They're humans, that we do have a coach AI system built in, right? Good. Our Snap Chef is an AI, built system. The other AI built system is a Dine Right. If your patients go out to eat, they could scan a menu. It'll tell them exactly what to order or what to tell the waiter. So there is AI built in there. The second thing is the conversation about how about GLP-1s, where we are not a GLP-1 system, but we do take care of a lot of people who are on GLP-1s, right? Or have had some damage from GLP-1s, right? And now all of a sudden are coming to us or want to get off the GLP-1s and know how to transition safely, that they don't regain that weight back. So I did want to add that piece in there. But we are definitely a system that is human contact, right? They get real people. We have a team of coaches, and you may have a weight loss system in your practice, but your biggest Fear is if your coach leaves or your salesperson leaves, you don't ever have to worry about that with us because we have a team of coaches. If one ever left, another one steps in and takes over. So you never have to worry about that piece ever. So again, Pete, thank you for having me on here. This has been wonderful, brother.
Thank you, sir. Thanks for joining me. And you all heard him say it. Go to SprintSet.com and book a call and take it from him. Dr. Rogers, appreciate you. Thank you all for listening. And until next week, God bless you all. Have a great rest of your day.
God bless you all.
Thanks for listening to this episode of the Remarkable CEO Podcast. If you like this podcast, please subscribe, share with a friend, and leave us a review. And if you'd like to connect with us personally, direct message us on Facebook, LinkedIn, or Instagram. Remember, what the world needs now is chiropractic, and what chiropractic needs now is more successful chiropractors.